Welcome to Akuse in the Lower Manyakrobo municipality of the Eastern region and Esuchare in the Shai Osu-Doku district of the Greater Accra region. These are two beneficiary towns that hold the Corn Irrigation Scheme, which has just seen a major facelift to improve agricultural productivity and production of both smallholder and nucleus farmers in the respective towns and its environs.
As you can see, we have laterals. Where I'm standing was a lateral, an open lateral, in which we take water. But today it's piped. If you look in front there, you will see that there's a valve on one of my farms. If you look here, there is a valve, so each other person can just go and turn on the valves. The cars come straight. These abubuya, they come straight into the farm. When they combine harvest, it pours the rice on the trampoline just in the road. So you see that it limits your production costs. So limiting your production cost means it is also increasing your profit. Any change that comes from the farm, it enriches your pocket. And once your pocket is enriched, you are able to meet your needs. It makes work even on a farm very, very easy for us. Before the rehabilitation, we were on this 9.7, I was getting around 3.4, 3.3, thereabout. My farm size of 0.7 and the yield I got over, I think, around 4.3 tons. I think it's best. It's best, which means if it's a hectare, I might be heading towards 6.2 or 6.3 tons.
This was not always the case. The food crop subsector is dominated by smallholder farmers, and they were plagued with challenges including access to litigation-free lands, reliable water, and good access roads to their farms.
The big challenge is land acquisition. Then where the land is situated, whether it is close to water, your advantage is very, very high because you can plant with irrigation so that when there are no rains, you can irrigate the crops.
Wanyagba nenge hiomi no jio wa made rain a choke neke hiomi one nyoye keke nyoye flood hiomi no tuepe omono ni buo ibuo mo ne hiomi ne bed kakaka 5 a point.
2016, when we had a drought, it was very difficult, and to avert that we had to invest $1.2 million to build a pipe, 4.5 kilometer pipe from the water stream into our farm.
Anytime it rains heavily, we always have flooding, and it affects us a lot.
In response to these and several other challenges to improving agricultural productivity, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, is implementing the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project with funding from the World Bank.
GCAP, which is Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project, is one of the most important tools by which this ministry seeks to support Ghanaian farmers, especially those in the savannah areas where they have only one rainy season, which lasts for only 4 months.
GCAP has one single objective: to improve agricultural productivity and production of small-scale and nucleus farmers in selected project intervention areas. For this project, there's reformation, rehabilitation, modernization, the last term sustainability. Reformation applies to the two key state institutions, Ghana Irrigation Development Authority and ICOR, formerly called Irrigation Company of the Upper Region. ICOR is in the Upper East Nabrongo, and JIDA is headquartered in Accra. We are reforming and retooling these institutions to play their role in the new paradigm. One, we've built modern offices for GIDA and ICOR, and equipped it with all the necessary infrastructure to be able to perform their role. We're training their engineers and the other technocrats to bring them abreast of the modern practices in management of irrigation facilities. Then when you come to modernization, as you said, and rehabilitation, we have identified 3 major irrigation sites in Ghana. In Tono, in Nabrongo, Upper East, in Pong, which is the right side of the Volta, straddles between Eastern and Greater Accra, as the Krobo and the Osudoku districts. Then on the left side, in North Tongu, we have the left bank.
First of all, we need to ensure that the farmers are able to change their attitude and mentality to be able to use the facility efficiently so that the schemes will be sustainable.
This scheme is a multifaceted scheme. The construction started in 1969 and was completed in around 78. We have a total area of 4,052 hectares. I said it's a multifaceted because we don't only do rice cultivation. We do what we call aquaculture production. We have areas for fish farming, tilapia specifically.
We have 2 departments here. One is the fish farm, and then the other one is the feed factory. We produce feed, both local and external use. So we have 2 types of fish here. One is the fish, tilapia fish, catfish, or mudfish. Tilapia fish, we start from fingerless. The fingerless is about a week or 2 weeks. You transfer them from the pond to the cage.
We have areas that we do banana cultivation.
Golden Exotics is part of the Pong irrigation scheme. It's by far probably the biggest farmer on the irrigation scheme. Golden Exotics farm is 1,700 hectares banana farm, which includes a 600-hectare organic farm, which is the biggest organic banana farm in the world.
Around 1984, there was another rehabilitation, which the funding was sourced from the African Development Bank. Since then, we have not done any rehabilitation. We had some issues with the canal, the roads, the infill roads, the drainage system. So there was a need for government to come in once again to do rehabilitation.
The scheme currently covers approximately 3,000 hectares with the dilapidated state of infrastructure at all the sections.
Irrigation goes hand in hand with drainage. So to the extent that the irrigation system had deteriorated, the drainage system had also deteriorated. We have what we call Section A, which has a total area of about 1,100 hectares, and Section B about 980 hectares, and then Section C, which is occupied by the Golden Exotics Limited, which covers an area of about 1,200 hectares. Most of the work that we are doing now involves work in these 2, in Section A and Section B. For Section C, we are installing new pumps. It's a high-level area. The other areas are gravity systems where mainly rice is grown. The consulting team is made up of engineers and other professionals from Ghana Irrigation Development Authority. And we are supervising top international engineering corporation.
你像这个贮区啊，贮区咱现在干的贮区就混凝土，这个浇筑，包括这个就是保证这个贮区能供水。再一个就是田间这个道路基建设，还有一个咱主要就是田间观望，这3大板块。
We have about 247 kilometers of road to do, and 88 kilometers are in Section B, where we are now. We've not tackled Section A yet, so we are dealing with 88 kilometer roads in Section B. For now, we've done about 44 kilometers. That's about 50% of the roads, but they are not completely done. There are 2-layer roads, the base layer and then the wearing cost. What we can see here is the base layer which they have laid to transform this road into these states. All these roads all over, this is how the states are now. But before they leave, they will put the cost wearing.
Because of the lockdown, some of the factories that we deal with here in Ghana, they shut down for a little while, and it affected our material supply lines. Apart from that, for the automation equipment and things, and the pumps, we are bringing them from China and India. And the lockdown in those countries has also affected the manufacturing of those pumps. Even as we speak now, we are not sure whether the factories in India and China are back to work full time. So that is seriously affecting timelines for delivery. But whatever it is, as far as we are concerned, we have continued to work during the lockdown period and everything, because we need to deliver the project on time so that the farmers can have access to the field.
In compliance with the Environmental Assessment Regulations of 1999 LI 1652 and the World Bank Safeguards Policies, particularly OP/BP 4.01, GCAP has prepared an Environmental and Social Impact Assessment (ESIA) and Environmental and Social Management Plan (ESMP) to guide the construction works and the scheme's operations after rehabilitation.
The project affected some people because the activities were carried out in areas where people were already living and already having their livelihoods, that is, their farms or any other activity. Now, if it's going to affect them that way, then there is the need to ensure that during the project construction period, the people still have alternative livelihood. So we discuss with them, and then you find an alternative way or alternative arrangement for them to continue having their livelihood. So what we did under this project was that they were given the opportunity to continue to do their farms. So the construction activities were phased out. So as one phase is going on, the areas that are not touched, it gave the people living there on the farming the opportunity to continue doing their farms.
We ensure that each worker is well protected. We make sure that these communities are protected from our impacts such as dust. We also make sure that the contractor put in place safety signages, advantage places to warn all users of the area of the activities that are going on. Where we have dark trenches and other things, we cordon those areas from public activities.
The rehabilitation and modernization of the Pong irrigation scheme will invariably increase food security and income to the farmers through improvement in crop intensity, better adaptation to climate change, direct and indirect job creation, and improvement in the standard of living and rural economy.
Now that the project is completed, our expectation is that we'll have 3 croppings in a year. We're going to generate about 30,000 metric tons in a year, and farmers will be the most people that will benefit.
By the virtue of the rehabilitation, the canals, the branch canals, all of them have been lined. That's concrete lined now. The drains have been worked on. All the open laterals and sublaterals have been converted into what we call semi-California, simply put pipes. They are now all pipes buried underground. So when we go to the field, you will not see any open channel. They are all pipes underground that takes water from the branch canal straight onto the field by virtue of the pipes.
We take free flow of water this time from the source, which is Akuse, Volta River. We take main water from there through the main canal into the pipes, which are the branch canals of or laterals of the farms.
Within a day, almost all the farms have access to water now, and water delivery has become very efficient.
A pump is installed at that section, which we call a relift station. There used to be 3 pumps there that have been working for them, but due to the rehabilitation, we are changing the 3 pumps to 4 pumps with the same capacity that will be able to provide the required water. Gels need about 2.81 cubic meters per second of water, but before then we were not able to provide that. But the pump we are installing now will be able to provide that water for them to be able to irrigate their farm.
We've improved the road infrastructure. See, the irrigation land straddles the whole community, both the eastern region of Ghana, the Greater Accra, the Ilo, Krobos, and the Osudoku. But there was no access. The 3,000 hectares of land, there was no road access. This project has built over 110 kilometers of roads, access roads within the farm, and also link the communities. So the communities now have access to traveling. This makes them easier. Hitherto they were just going through paths. Now lorries and cars and those things. The farmers can also have lorries to pick their produce, and there's more communication between the communities.
People draw water from the canal to use for domestic purposes. Now, the canal's shape are in trapezoidal form. It's like a V, opening at the top, slanting to the base. And so if you are not careful and you step on any side of the canal, the likelihood is that one will slip, fall into the base, and it's concretized, and therefore the person can get injured.
To ensure the long-term sustainability of the irrigation scheme and subsequently the GCAP investment, an effective scheme management structure has been designed with encompassing Water User Association (WUA) formation and development in partnership with private farming, agribusiness and other business entity management.
And now with that reform, it means that they have to focus on their regulatory functions and leave the management of the schemes to the private sector, working with the farmers to ensure that we have solid maintenance of the facilities for other generations to come and benefit from it.
The key issue is managing these irrigation schemes. The history that we have, we intend to set up a professional scheme management entity to ensure that this irrigation scheme is managed professionally.
We want the investment or the irrigation area to be fully utilized, so people become more productive, they make money, and then they use part of that money to maintain the infrastructure that you have made.
First of all, we need to ensure that the farmers are able to change their attitude and mentality to be able to use the facility efficiently so that the schemes will be sustainable.
It was important to ensure that after the schemes are rehabilitated and modernized, the schemes will be sustainable over their project life. And therefore, it was realized that farmers especially, or water users, are very key in the management and maintenance of these schemes if they would last their project life. And that's how come the Water User Association concept was born. At KIS, which was, of course, the first to have WOAS before the other schemes that we have discussed earlier. The farmer interest has increased. The participation in the scheme has increased, and as can be attested by the scheme management and even the farmers, their ability to contribute to maintenance at the service area level is picking up.
The rehabilitation works are completed and the modernization works are near completion too. Farmers and beneficiary communities can now have access to the full benefits of the new and improved scheme. There is indeed light at the end of the tunnel. This will certainly be a massive addition to the government's flagship policy of planting for food and jobs.